Nobody expected Ric Flair to walk away from the empire he helped build, but what he did next sent shockwaves through the entire wrestling world. Ric Flair has been part of WWE history for decades, but fans couldn't believe what they were seeing the moment the Nature Boy stepped onto an AEW stage wearing a smirk that screamed rebellion. The crowd erupted into chaos as cameras zoomed in, trying to capture every detail of his unbelievable arrival. For many, this wasn't just a moment. It was a seismic shift, one that viewers on social media went wild, dissecting frame by frame. To understand how we got here, we need to rewind the story just a bit. Ric Flair's relationship with WWE has always been turbulent, legendary, yes, but filled with emotional highs and dramatic lows. From being the 16-time world champion to moments where personal issues overshadowed professional triumphs, Flair's legacy is stitched deeply into the WWE fabric. Yet behind the scenes, something darker had been brewing for years. And when fans learned Flair had been quietly meeting with Tony Khan, questions flooded timelines everywhere. This wasn't a casual conversation. It was Flair testing the waters of a company that treats legends differently, more creatively, more freely, and in Flair's eyes, with more respect. In recent months, insiders revealed that Flair felt increasingly sidelined in WWE, with creative directions he disagreed with, appearances he considered wasted, and a past controversy that he believed WWE never fully allowed him to move beyond. Fans couldn't believe the tension was real, but it was, and it simmered for a long time. Meanwhile, Tony Khan had a plan. AEW was rapidly building momentum with shocking returns, surprise debuts, and unpredictable backstage agreements. Khan understood the power of nostalgia, but more importantly, he understood how to weaponize it. Ric Flair was the perfect chess piece, one move that could tilt the board. Fans watching AEW programming over the last few weeks noticed small hints: a cryptic woo sound during a promo, a backstage graphic featuring a mysterious silhouette, and hints dropped by AEW commentators that someone iconic was on the horizon. Viewers on social media went wild, connecting the dots. Memes exploded. TikTok breakdowns hit millions of views. Twitter debates raged about whether Flair would actually risk his WWE legacy for a new chapter. And then, without warning, the lights dropped on AEW Dynamite. A single spotlight hit the ramp, and Ric Flair stepped out, stylish robe, trademark grin, and all. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. Flair had arrived in AEW, and he didn't come alone, because standing behind him was someone nobody expected, but who walked out with Ric Flair that night. And why did it make WWE executives furious? The arena was already shaking from Ric Flair's entrance. But when the second figure stepped through the curtain, fans completely lost their minds. At first, the cameras struggled to adjust. A shadowy silhouette stood behind Ric Flair, and fans couldn't believe what they were seeing as the crowd erupted into chaos. Viewers on social media went wild, clipping the moment from every angle and zooming in to see who dared walk beside the Nature Boy. AEW hadn't just acquired Ric Flair, they had sparked a revolution, because the man standing behind Flair was none other than Sting. The reaction was instant. The arena exploded. Fans jumped to their feet. Commentators shouted over each other. For years, Flair and Sting were the foundation of classic wrestling legacies, two icons whose paths intertwined through unforgettable rivalries, alliances, and unforgettable promos. And now, decades later, they were standing united under the AEW banner, sending a clear message across the wrestling world. The past was rewriting the present, but this wasn't a friendly reunion. Insiders later revealed that Flair and Sting had been talking privately for months, reigniting their wrestling brotherhood that WWE never fully honored. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing, but behind the scenes, the partnership made perfect sense. Sting had already announced his plans for retirement, yet something kept pulling him back. AEW gave him freedom, freedom to move, freedom to create, and freedom to control his final chapters. Flair saw that, and he wanted the same. The crowd erupted into chaos as the two legends walked side by side toward the ring. AEW officials had kept their arrival so secretive that even several wrestlers backstage had no idea what was about to happen. But Tony Khan, he was smiling in the gorilla position, headset on, knowing he had just shaken the industry. Flair grabbed a microphone, his voice echoing through the stadium. He didn't attack WWE directly, but every word was a blade aimed at the empire he left behind. Sometimes, Flair said, a legend knows when it's time to step into a ring where he's respected, celebrated, and unleashed. Fans couldn't believe what they were hearing. Social media exploded instantly. WWE circles were buzzing. Wrestlers posted reactions in real-time: shock, excitement, disbelief. Some insiders whispered that WWE executives were furious. Not because Ric Flair joined AEW, they had expected that, but because he brought Sting into the narrative. Two old-school giants, reunited in a modern battlefield, created a legacy earthquake no one was ready for. But the real shocker wasn't Flair's promo. It wasn't Sting's presence. It wasn't even the historic symbolism of their alliance. It was what happened after Flair handed the microphone to Sting. The crowd leaned in. Fans watching at home froze. Viewers online spammed comments and reactions in real time. Because Sting didn't cut a farewell speech, he delivered a warning. A warning aimed at WWE. A warning aimed at one specific top WWE legend. The arena went silent as Sting's words cut through the air, like a lightning strike. Fans couldn't believe what they were hearing live on AEW Dynamite. Sting pointed directly at the camera, eyes blazing under the arena lights, and said the name everyone in the wrestling world feared to hear: Roman Reigns. The crowd erupted into chaos, chanting, gasping, and tweeting their shock simultaneously. Viewers on social media went wild, clipping every second and debating whether this was scripted or a genuine challenge. WWE executives reportedly turned red in fury, unable to respond live as their top superstar was publicly called out by one of the all-time greats in the business. Sting didn't mince words. "Roman Reigns," he said, "you may be the tribal chief, but you've never faced the legends together. And AEW, we're ready to prove something WWE refuses to let the world see." Fans couldn't believe what they were witnessing, the audacity, the spectacle, the cinematic feel of it all. Twitter hashtags exploded. Hashtag Sting vs Roman. Hashtag NatureBoy returns. Hashtag AEW. Shock. Memes, GIFs, and reaction videos flooded every platform within minutes. Ric Flair, standing beside him, threw his iconic arms in the air, wooing at the crowd, adding fuel to the fire. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing as Flair's signature charisma combined with Sting's intensity created a perfect storm. The AEW ring transformed into a historical battlefield where the past, present, and future collided. Every camera angle captured the sweat, the emotion, the sheer cinematic tension. Viewers on social media went wild, dissecting every frame. Backstage reactions were equally explosive. AEW talent posted cryptic messages hinting at a reckoning coming soon. WWE locker rooms buzzed with nervous energy. Some stars laughed nervously, others fumed in frustration, and insiders confirmed that Roman Reigns had just been informed about Sting's verbal challenge. Fans couldn't believe how high the stakes had suddenly become. Social media threads debated: would WWE sanction a confrontation, or would this be a cross-promotional dream fight no one could legally control? But it wasn't just Roman Reigns in danger of losing his aura. Flair and Sting's partnership sent a message to every wrestler who had ever been overlooked by WWE's creative. AEW was now positioning itself as the rebel powerhouse, the company that could shock the world, rewrite narratives, and challenge the perceived monopoly of WWE. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. AEW had pulled off a cinematic move that blurred lines between reality and fiction. The commentators continued to stoke the tension, emphasizing that Flair and Sting weren't just returning, they were rewriting wrestling history. Viewers on social media went wild as AEW played up the drama. Slow-mo motion shots, pyrotechnics, audience reactions, and suspenseful music that made every word feel like a verdict. The moment was electric, unforgettable, and undeniably viral. Fans were left wondering if WWE could respond, or if their empire had just been challenged in a way no one anticipated. But the shock didn't end there. Section 4 reveals the secret alliance. AHU has waiting in the shadows a move that could change the wrestling world forever and leave WWE scrambling for answers. Just when fans thought the chaos had peaked, AEW dropped a bombshell that left everyone gasping. This was bigger than Ric Flair, bigger than Sting. As the crowd tried to process Sting's challenge to Roman Reigns, a sudden video played on the big screen. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing: footage of a secret AEW alliance, carefully kept hidden until now. Viewers on social media went wild as hashtags like hashtag AEW Shockwave and hashtag Legend Alliance trended within minutes. The arena erupted into chaos, with chants echoing through every corner. The video revealed the shocking identity of the fourth member in this legendary AEW faction: Chris Jericho. Yes, Chris Jericho, known for his audacious promos and unpredictable attacks, had aligned with Flair and Sting, creating an unstoppable trio. Fans couldn't believe what they were witnessing: Jericho walking through AEW's locker room with a confident grin, hinting at a storyline so explosive it could rewrite wrestling history. The commentators couldn't contain themselves, emphasizing the cinematic tension and historic magnitude of this alliance. Backstage, the AEW roster buzzed with anticipation. Everyone knew Jericho's strategic mind, his flair for the dramatic, and his ability to push rivalries to the breaking point. And now, paired with two of the most iconic figures in wrestling, his presence amplified the stakes exponentially. Viewers on social media went wild as fans debated who would dare stand in their path. WWE's executives reportedly watched in disbelief, realizing that this wasn't just a show of legends, it was a carefully calculated statement. The trio, Flair, Sting, and Jericho, made their grand entrance in AEW. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing as pyrotechnics lit the arena. The ramp covered in a shimmering mist, and the camera captured every angle of the legends, striding confidently toward the ring. The crowd erupted into chaos, chanting, "Legends, legends," every step of the way. The energy was palpable, the atmosphere electric, and viewers on social media went wild, reacting to every detail of the spectacle. Ric Flair grabbed a microphone first, his iconic robe glimmering under the arena lights. "We're not just here to make an appearance," he said, his voice dripping with charisma. "We're here to change the game. AEW is where legends come alive, and WWE, well, you've been warned." Fans couldn't believe the audacity. The combination of Flair's verbal dominance, Sting's intensity, and Jericho's unpredictability made the moment feel cinematic, dramatic, and utterly unforgettable. But the real shocker came when Jericho stepped forward, pointing directly at the camera. "It's not just about talking anymore," he said. "We've got plans. And trust me, we won't know what hit them." The crowd erupted into chaos again. Viewers on social media went wild, speculating about the first attack, the first match, and the potential for a cross-promotional war that could shake the industry to its core. The tension reached a fever pitch as AEW teased the first confrontation that would shake the wrestling world. Fans couldn't believe what was coming next. After weeks of anticipation, AEW officially announced the match that would define the season. Ric Flair, Sting, and Chris Jericho were set to confront Roman Reigns and his top allies in a no-holds-barred spectacle. The crowd erupted into chaos at the announcement. Viewers on social media went wild, sharing clips, analyzing potential outcomes, and speculating about every shocking twist. WWE executives were reportedly scrambling behind the scenes, realizing their tribal chief storyline had just been challenged by the perfect storm of legends. The build-up was cinematic. AEW aired special promos showing Flair training, Sting rehearsing his moves, and Jericho crafting his iconic strategy. Each clip was accompanied by dramatic music, slow-motion shots, and audience reactions. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. Viewers on social media dissected every frame, predicting how this legendary faction could disrupt WWE's dominance. The hype was real, and every wrestling fan was talking about the impending confrontation. Behind the scenes, Tony Khan revealed that AEW had orchestrated every move to maximize shock value. From secret meetings to cryptic social media hints, every step had been carefully crafted to fuel the drama. The arena itself became a character in this story. Lights dimmed, pyrotechnics exploded, and smoke engulfed the ramp as the legends made their first official AEW appearance together. Fans couldn't believe the spectacle. The production was cinematic, electrifying, and perfectly timed. Flair, Sting, and Jericho stood in the center of the ring, the crowd chanting their names in unison. Flair raised his arms, wooing with a ferocity that reminded everyone why he is the Nature Boy. Sting's intensity was palpable, eyes locked on an invisible adversary, sending a clear warning to Roman Reigns. Jericho smirked, his confidence radiating like a beacon of calculated chaos. Fans couldn't believe what they were witnessing. The combination of history, drama, and sheer unpredictability made this moment unforgettable. Then came the first shocking move. Without warning, AEW aired footage of a surprise attack on WWE's top star during a scripted promo segment. The crowd erupted into chaos. Viewers on social media went wild, commenting on the audacity and sheer cinematic brilliance of the moment. WWE fans were divided between outrage and admiration. No one had expected AEW to strike so boldly, and this set the tone for what would become the ultimate cross-promotional rivalry. The commentary team hyped the moment relentlessly. "This is history in the making. Legends rewriting the rules. WWE has never faced anything like this." Fans couldn't believe what they were hearing. Viewers on social media dissected every angle, every move, every word, and the conversation became global. AEW had not only brought legends back, they had created a narrative that challenged the entire wrestling world. And now, the question remains, will Roman Reigns rise to the challenge, or has AEW changed the game forever? Fans can only wait and watch as the next chapter in this epic wrestling saga unfolds.